What if you can turn simple Dollar Tree wood rounds into glowing reminders of faith this Christmas? Today, I am creating two beautiful Nativity wall decor pieces, one rustic and one that truly shines with the reason for the season.
Hi, I'm Loli, and I'm so glad you are here.
For this project, I'll be using one of these wood rounds from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove this hanger, and then I'm going to take some antiques wax from Waverly and a reusable white from Dollar Tree and spread my wax all over the entire front side of the wood round. I just kept going over it until I got to the desired shade that I wanted. Now I'm going to take this plate that I got from Temu, and I'm going to take some of my E6000 and put it on different areas of the entire backend. And then I'm going to come in with some of my Tide Bond Quick and Thick and put it also in other areas so it has a quicker bond. This one dries in about 15 minutes. I did not use hot glue because hot glue and metal do not like each other. The hot glue dries so quickly that I will not have enough time to position this in place, and instead it will end up raised. Once I made sure that it was straight, we're going to press it down and let it sit for 15 minutes. Then I took this reed form that I got from Dollar Tree. They're all beads and they are kind of loose. So I took some of my Tide Bond Quick and Thick and I'm adding it to the top section of the beads, but I'm making sure that I'm not moving the beads as I'm applying the glue. Once that is set, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Again, being very careful that as I'm lifting, my beads are not shifting. So all my glue will still stay in the bottom, and then I'm going to press it down to the center of my root round. Now we are going to embellish this a little bit further. I'm going to take some of these pine pieces from Dollar Tree and I'm going to use two of them. I will be cutting off the wire section off of each one of them. And then I'm going to just butt them slightly on top of each other as you see there. Then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on top of one right here and press the other one against it. Hold it there together in place until both pieces fuse together. Now I'm going to take this piece of wire that I cut off from the bottom of one of these, and I'm going to just twist it around the hole that's in the beaded garland and onto the pine pieces just to secure it in place to that piece. And then we are going to go ahead and take my needle nose pliers here just to make sure that has a very nice and tight adhesion. The pine pieces were starting to droop, so I want to make sure that this stayed nicely in place. So I added a little bit of hot glue on the bead that the pine piece was falling on top of and then pressed the pine piece onto it until it dried. Then I took some of this ribbon that I got from Michael's. I think I got this from a grab bag. And I'm going to create a small bow. I'm just going to fold it as you see there, cut off my excess ribbon, and then I'm going to take a piece of thread that I got from some burlap that I used for a previous DIY. And I'm going to use that little thread to tie my bow right here in the middle after I cinch the middle. I'm going to just do a double knot on the back of it, cut off the excess thread, and then glue my bow to the middle of the greenery. Friend, if you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit that like button and let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. I'd love to know how far my videos are reaching. Thank you so much. All right, next we're going to take these two golden eucalyptus pieces that I got left over from a DIY I did for my daughter's Sweet 16, and we're going to stick it right here behind the bow, one on each side. Then I threaded some beads that I had from Walmart into the same jute cord that came in the hanger. I put two light beads in one side, then a darker one in the middle, and I did that pattern until I had about, I will say about 15 beads. Actually 11 beads. And we're going to just go ahead and tie this back onto our wood round. And that is it for this one. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about this project. If you enjoy it, make sure to share because sharing is caring. And it helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. My friend, today's video is part of the Wood Round or Read Wednesday, and this is a collaboration in which we are tasked with creating DIY home decor using wood rounds or reed forms. This is hosted on the 4th Wednesday of every month by Aurea from DIY with Aurea, myself, Loli from Loli's Creations. And this month we have the privilege of having the talented Clary from Clary's Creations Part 2. The links to our channels and to the playlist will link in the description box below and also pinned in the comments. Make sure to head on over to their channels, the playlist, and show everyone some love. For this project, I'll be using one of these wood rounds from Dollar Tree. We're going to remove the hanger and paint it with one coat of rich black chalk paint from Volcard. Next, I took one of these DIY kits from Dollar Tree and I'm going to paint it white using some Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Once that dried, we are going to put these two pieces together. I took the house portion of the nativity set and I'm going to place it towards the middle of the wood round. And then I'm going to arrange the characters all around. I'm just going to see exactly here how I want it placed. Once I was happy with the placement there, then I'm deciding, you know what, I'm going to be positioning this plastic piece from Dollar Tree over it so it would look like a snow globe. So I'm going to remove the sticker from both the inside and the outside of that piece. Now I'm going to position it on top of my scenery here to see how it's going to fall. And I didn't like how it was to the side, so I decided to remove it and reposition all my pieces more towards the bottom and a bit more centered. And I was much happier with this placement. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take some wood glue and glue down every single piece of the nativity set. My friend, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit that like button. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so YouTube notifies you each time that I upload a new video. All these things are free and they mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And make sure to add that wood glue to every little area there, making sure not to have it seep out. So you saw me here that I applied the thin layer and then I position everything right back into place, making sure here that I have enough space in the middle so I can position my baby Jesus. I just had to move everything around, so this is why it's best to use some wood glue instead of hot glue. And it also ensures a better bond. I have these fairy lights that I got from Temu and I thought they would be the best thing for a starry night. So I'm going to go ahead and unravel that. And we are going to take my heat tool here, my, I don't know, what do you call this again? My hot knife. I got this from Amazon. I will link it in my description box below. And I just bow some holes here and there, trying to space them out kind of evening, but at the same time random. So this will have the effect of a starry night. So here I'm just being very careful not to make my holes too big either, because we want to make sure that each one of the light bulbs are nice and snug. And here, when you want to go close to your house, you can go through the front so that way you can make sure that you're not burning your nativity image. Look how smoky that was, but it was so much fun. And I also bore a hole right there where the star is in the nativity area, so I'm able to put lights in there as well. And now it's time to position our fairy lights in there. So what I did, I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to start with the very tippy part of the fairy lights. And I'm going to put them in different sections, just sneaking them into those little holes. And I just went all the way around. In this area here, I started in the beginning. If you do this project, I will say start on one at the end and stay in the same section, because I ended up using 3 of these fairy light sets for all of these holes. I did not count them. I want to say I did about 30 of them. And as I'm putting the holes in, I'm just making sure to fold the piece of wire very close to the light bulb so it will have a nice snug fit, and that at the same time I don't have the wire be seen on the other side of the wood round. And I did this with 3 different sets. Then here for the 3rd set, I had most of it left over, so I'm going to put it to the side there towards the bottom. But I did want it to cover the bottom section of the nativity set with some floral moss, as you see there. So I just added some of this one that has some of the brown and some of the green, because I thought it was very appropriate for the Christmas season when we do not have everything nice and green, right? So we're going to add a nice layer here of that floral moss. And make sure not to make it too thick, because we're going to position that plastic piece right in there. So as I end it here, I'm going to measure to make sure that I'm not going past that line of where that plastic piece is going to fit. And it was perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of those areas that look bare and make this nice and even. Give it a quick little haircut where things were a little bit too straggly. And then we're going to go ahead and position our dome onto this. And to attach it, I use some UHU glue to do that. I didn't want to use any hot glue because of the plastic. And also I wanted to make sure that I have everything sit in the right place. And hot glue dries so quickly sometimes that it gives you no wiggle room to be able to adjust anything. Here, be very careful in the way you hold it so you don't get that glue all over your fingers. And then just position your place right here. Then for the remainder of the fairy lights, I'm going to go ahead and put it right there at the edges of the plastic. And to do that, I'm going to add some hot glue in the very edge, making sure to add the hot glue where the wire section will be and not the light bulb. And I just held it taut there until it dried. And I did that all the way around until I went back to the bottom. And then I folded my wire towards the back and used some masking tape to keep all of the wires down. To keep the power banks in place, first I thought I was going to use masking tape, but it wasn't working. So I added a little bit of hot glue in the bottom of each one of them. Again, making sure that we are not gluing it onto the wire pieces. I did that with all 3 power banks. And I taped down all of the wires in the back as well. Now it's time to embellish this further. I'm going to use some of these pine picks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off the excess in the bottom here and glue them all the way around the entire globe here. I just added some hot glue to the worst side of it and then just held them there in place until it dried. Then I did the same thing with a second piece there, and I'm going to make sure that I'm staggering. So the top section of my next pine piece is going to be in the bottom section or on top of the bottom section of the next one. And I repeated this until I went all the way around the entire piece. When I got to the end here, it was just one small piece needed. So I just measured how much I needed. I cut off the excess piece and did the same thing here, finishing off this circle by tucking under this one right here and leaving on top of the other. I had some glue, straggly cobweb things going on, so I took a little bit of glue away and put it in a little wipe and just wipe all that glue off. Next, I took some ribbon and I'm going to use it as my hanger. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. My friend, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. And if you enjoyed today's content, here is some more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you again so much for watching. You're amazing. Bye.